Hi guys, Frazer Brookes here. I'm coming to you live from Formby, UK, north of Liverpool. I'm here with obviously Simon Brooks. I mean, I'm beyond excited, but Dad, what are you feeling?
Well folks, I've been involved in the industry next month for nearly 28 years. With what we're now going to share with you is going to excite the hell out of you. You will be impressed.
Welcome to part 2. Now, I'm going to do a quick recap because I understand that some of you may not have seen the first part of this video, and you don't need to. First part of this video, cut a long story short, Frazer Brookes is a liar. And let's take a quick recap here. Right then, so Frazer Brookes, he's a social media expert. He built his entire MLM empire, his network marketing company, all off the back of social media. That's what he tells everyone. That's how he markets himself. That's what he sold his book on the back of. 300,000 customers, all Facebook, the whole thing, social media. That's what he says. Now his book, he describes in great detail how he was so shy and introverted. There was no other way he could have done it because he was just so shy and introverted. You know, but let's just break down a bit of bullshit, a bit of a recap here. So, here's your shy introvert. Here's your shy introvert.
King's George V College in Southport, and I studied business, economics, IT, and maths. Okay, I was pretty clever. I thought I was pretty clever, but at the same time, I discovered something that proved to change my course, and that was partying. I was out literally 5 or 6 nights every single week with my friends, enjoying life. And unfortunately, that led to me having an 8% attendance rate in my first year of a 2-year course.
So there's your shy introvert out every night, near enough, partying with his friends. Really shy, introverted guy. You know, all those introverts that just love going out 5 nights a week with all their friends partying. That's the kind of introvert he was. Not an introvert at all. The party-loving introvert who liked going out with his friends. Anyway, right then, next. Did he start his network marketing business using social media? Did he? Let's just see. Let's see what he says.
Hey, it started with me and my father in an office, his office, and now look what's happened in London. Go wild, guys!
This.
Held my dad's hand basically the entire way, and then things started to really take it off from there. I'd actually decided to go. I'd actually joined 6 days before my final ever university exam.
Started in his dad's office, and his dad held his hand the whole way through. Things really took off. Why did things really take off? Well, this might explain it a little bit.
I was actually the second person to join in Shop and Share that first day with my dad.
Right, so his second person join. He, and let's just for clarification here. We heard what he said in an office with his dad, second person to join, held his dad's hand, and I think that we'll just leave it to Frazer to explain in his own words.
I've actually been building this business from wherever I want. I've traveled the world, been to places like Orlando, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Miami, Dublin, all over the UK, Copenhagen and Denmark, Stockholm and Malmo, and different parts of Sweden, all over Germany, all over Italy, Portugal, Malta, all over Thailand, all over Kazakhstan, I've been to Russia, I've been to parts of Africa, basically all over the world.
There you go. He built his business all over the world. No mention of Facebook there. And that tells you everything. And these videos, all the clips I've shown you, were before he decided to become a coach, before he decided to specialise in social media coaching. This was him telling the truth about himself before he ever realised that was what his niche was going to be. So let's just get that out of the way. Now you don't need to watch the first video because you've just seen there. He's a liar. Now, I am going to start. Now, you'll notice I've got the whiteboard out, and that's necessary, and I think you'll understand why when we go, because we're just going to go straight into this, and we're going to start from the beginning, when all the sort of little bits of bullshit begin to come out. So we're going to read a little excerpt from his book. It was Thursday, the 8th of April, 2010. I was sat at my computer studying for my final ever university exam. I had 6 days to go and I found myself wander over to Facebook. I had received a message from a complete stranger, blah, blah, blah. Now then, let's just put this, I'm going to put this on here. Oh, don't tell me, these are bloody things. Oh, not the pink one, those are dried out. Dry all my pens out. So I've got a pink one, it barely works. I mean, literally, this was a new pen. Goodness me. Right then, so we're going to put it on here. Book. April 2010. Right? That's relevant because I'm going to show you another little clip here, right? And another little clip because that's not what Frazer said in this clip.
Cheers, Chuck.
Cheers to you, buddy.
I'm happy you still call me young. I'm 26 now. When I joined, I was 24, tender age of 24. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. By the way, yeah, I actually joined when I was a college student, as Chuck said. Actually, call it university over here in the UK.
So he said on here. So let's just clip 1. Joined 24 years, and he joined when he was at uni. He says that. Uni. Right then. Let's look at the next clip. And here we go.
England, and I've been involved in Shop and Show since the start. I joined the start of June 2012.
Here you go. So, clip 2, June 12, he says on there, doesn't he? And he would be 24. However, on this one, he says 2010. Now, I know that Frazer is born in May 1988. So in April 2010, Frazer would have been a month away from his 22nd birthday. So he'd have just been here. 21 years. Right. So we've lost 2 years there. So in these clips, he's claiming he began all this in uni. He started shopping Sherlock in uni when he was 24. Now all these years later, he says goes back to 2010. Now that would make sense because he would finish. I mean, we look at he talks about his 4 years. That would be about the right age to finish uni. So this one would make sense. 2010, leaving in 2010. That makes sense. This doesn't make sense because 2 years. Where have those 2 years gone? Now, I'm not going to get into what I got into because it's not relevant to this one. I have my own personal feelings. I have a feeling he may not have completed uni. I have a feeling he may have dropped out in his second year. But they are not relevant to this. I can't prove it. I mean, I just have a feeling going from all the little bits of, I mean, there's a load of clips, all the little bits of bullshit here and there and little things he says. I just don't think he did. But whatever, it's not relevant. What's relevant is the fact that he's lying. The fact that he's lying, and why is he lying? Well, I have answers for you here. Why he's lying? Because let's go to his LinkedIn page, shall we? Maybe we can find out what he did in those 2 years off his LinkedIn page. Go down. Yeah, there he is. This is his LinkedIn page. This is it. This is his LinkedIn page. Go down, look. Ooh, honours and awards. Right. You see? So, as we can see, 2010, Young Distributor of the Year. 2011, won Young Distributor of the Year in 2011. So he's got those 2 years on there. So he says here, we see the 2013, he's got the first ever First Class Excellence Award for 2012, the Shopping Sherlock. So that's right, that's in line. I mean, he said he started Shopping Sherlock in 2012. But what is this? Agoradine. Agoradine, what's that? I mean, I've never heard of an MLM called Agoradine. Have you? You heard of that MLM? No? Well, I hadn't either, so I looked into it a little bit further, did a little bit more digging, and it turns out Agoradine is the parent company or sister company of an MLM that shut itself down in 2012 called My Shopping Genie. Right, I'm going to talk to you all about My Shopping Genie because it's extremely relevant. Because this blows Frazer's whole entire story out of the water, and it completely discredits him as any sort of an expert. And I think you'll see why. So, let's have a look. So he says, again, we'll go back to the board. On this one, I mean, we know that this is just silliness now because he didn't start network marketing and why is he lying? Why didn't he just say, oh, I was in this one called Shopping Genie? We will come on to that. So we know that this is lies. He didn't start, his first MLM was not Shopping Sherlock, and he did not start Shopping Sherlock straight out of uni, 6 days a week. This thing about saying 6 days, he didn't start it then. He actually started My Shopping Genie, and I believe that this is probably true. Because he keeps going on about this 6 days before thing. That I'm imagining that that's probably really true, and this date's probably correct. And why that's a concern and why that's a bad thing is because of this. So My Shopping Genie didn't launch in the UK in April. My Shopping Genie launched in the UK in September. So why did Frazer know about this in April? Well, we'll go on because I mentioned very briefly in my last video Frazer's father, Simon Brookes. Now, this is the person. He's got nearly 30 years, but around this time we've had nearly 30 years experience in the industry, connections all over the place.
Now, with this opportunity, I had a phone call from a friend of mine who turned around and said, Simon, I know you've been in the MLM industry for many, many years, and I know you've been in $1 billion opportunity, which is in health and nutrition. But are you open to looking at $1 trillion industry? And I said 3 words. I said, tell me more. Then he said, have you ever heard of Google?
It's the first clip. So we got a phone call. Phone call off somebody. Phone call off someone. I wonder who that was. So he explains more here.
Going back a few short years ago, a friend of mine from North America gave me a phone call and said, Simon, I know you've been involved in $1 billion industry, which is health and nutrition. And I know you've made millions and millions and millions from the profession, but would you be open to taking a look at $1 trillion industry? And I said 3 words. I said, tell me more. He said, okay, have you ever heard of Google? I said, don't be silly. Everybody's heard of Google.
So he explains it there. That was Frazer's dad. Frazer's dad got a phone call from his friend. We'll talk more about Simon Brookes' friend in a minute. he got a phone call from his friend in North America who said, you know, I'm in this MLM. You know, I'm one of the, I've started an MLM. I'm a co-founder of an MLM. It's really good. Do you wanna start it in the UK? Do you wanna kick it off in the UK? Maybe get your son involved. And Simon Brookes said 3 words. He said, tell me more. And he told him more. And the rest is history. Simon then got his son Frazer in, who jumped at the opportunity. We know that. He admits that in his last clips. And there was no umming and ahhing, all the bullshit that Frazer pretends that there was. There was none of that. He was straight in there. They were the first 2 in the United Kingdom, right? And that's how Frazer started this in April, because they were obviously informed about this in April, and they were responsible for this launch. They were the ones that organised all the launch. I think it was in Coventry, I think they said, and that's why it launched in September. And these pair were the ones who started it all. They started it all, and they got everyone, and that's how it was so easy for Frazer to do so well in such a short space of time, because he started it with his dad. His dad held his hand. It's, you know, come on, son. But that's the reality of it, right? And I'm not anywhere near finished. I am not anywhere near finished, because this goes so much deeper than them lying and Frazer lying and being the first in his MLM and launching it in the UK and all the rest of it. Because I want to talk more about this MLM of theirs, because this is the most concerning part. So let's go on. So before I go to explain how the MLM worked, it's worth me talking about Simon Brookes' friends, because these are the people who got him in. Now, we have John Van Derzen. He's one of the founders. Bruce Buys. We have David Freed, the CEO. And we have the president of My Net Universe, which was the company that started Shopping Genie. They're the owners, Andy Coulthon. So 4 men there. One of these men we know called Simon Brookes. I think it was Bruce Buys. Could have been any one of them. They're all dodgy though. So let's start with discussing John Van Derzen. Let me put him here. Now, he was originally the top money earner of My Sky Biz. My Sky Biz was another MLM, and he apparently earned over $1 million a year with this MLM. Only problem is, the Federal Trade Commission charged them for running a pyramid scheme. They were charging people $125, and it was a pyramid scheme, it turns out, and they were charged for it, and they settled it out of court with litigation. So that's his history. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to the next person on the list, and the next person on the list is Bruce Buys. Now let's go into a little bit more detail about Bruce Buys, because he was jailed for 7 years in Arizona for felony, forgery and fraudulent schemes. He was involved in a string of multi-level marketing schemes, all of which ended up scamming and frauding people out of all the money. So they were all shut down. And yeah, he was done for fraud. More recently, in 2019, he was convicted of Bitcoin fraud. He ran another scam, Bitcoin scam, Ponzi-like scheme, and I'll go on to explain that, the Ponzi scheme, in a bit. It's relevant. But yeah, Bitcoin scam. So he's never stopped. This guy has never ever stopped scamming people. He is just a criminal. This is one of the co-founders of My Shopping Genie. Criminal. We get on David Freed, CEO, National Marketing Director of Get Moving Today, which was one of the MLMs that Bruce Buys was also involved with. Took all of its distributors' money, then filed for bankruptcy, leaving them without any of the money. So basically scammed them all out of the money and then left them high and dry, left them with nothing. All the investors got left with nothing. And that's David Freed. He was heavily involved with that. That's the CEO of My Shopping Genie. Right? We haven't finished yet. So the president of My Net Universe, which was the company that owned My Shopping Genie, Andy Coulthon. Andy Coulthon was involved with US MLM business. which was called Your Travel Business International. Cut a massively long story short, after a long investigation, it was deemed an illegal pyramid scheme and closed down. These are the men involved. These are the shady fraudsters who have scammed. I mean, these 4 men, I would imagine it goes into the millions. I would imagine it goes into the millions. I'm not talking about millions, I'm talking about millions of people. I would imagine they've scammed up between the millions of people. And these are Simon Brookes' friends. These are the people that got Simon Brookes in. These are the people. These are his friends. These are who Simon Brookes is involved with. And this is who Frazer Brookes was then involved with, surrounded by a bunch of fraudsters. So not on Facebook. No, he wasn't sitting on Facebook. No, he was building a business with convicted fraudsters. People who had scammed people out of. This is the book. You are reading the book of a person whose business was started holding in the hand of fraudsters. People who had scammed innocent people like you out of thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds. This is the book you're reading. He didn't do it on Facebook. This is how he did it. The fraudsters got his dad in and the dad got him in. This is why they hide all of this off all their social media. They hide it all. But that's not the best bit. We are going to go on now. I'm going to go on now to explain, because now we know the foundations of My Shopping Genie. We know who was involved. It won't surprise you when I now go on to explain the situation with My Shopping Genie and what happened to it. So I don't know if any of you saw my IntelliTravel video. Perhaps some of you. It wasn't one of the popular ones. But essentially, IntelliTravel and Planet work together. They have a symbiotic relationship. They are really one entity in actual fact, but they separate themselves in order to remain legal, in order to not be accused of being a pyramid scheme. Because Planet, well, there is no product really, and there's the holidays that nobody buys. And they the IntelliTravel have to put the money in every month, which then goes to Planet, and they keep themselves separate. So you've got My Shopping Genie. What is it? Well, I explained a little bit in my other video about My Shopping Sherlock, which was came from My Shopping Genie. So you buy for $199. You buy a license. I'll just fit the whole word on there. It's a license to distribute a piece of software. The piece of software is a price comparison tool, which you download, you install on your computer. It works alongside with Google. You search for something on Google, camera, laptop, whatever, phone, and My Shopping Genie then activates, and it will give you all of the My Shopping Genie results, which are the cheapest ones, price comparison. However, you cannot sell this piece of software. You can only give it away to people, and you make your money from them clicking a tiny bit of money, a tiny bit of money. But as we know, the real money is to be made from recruiting people, because, right, here's you, right, or Simon Brookes. Simon Brookes recruits one person here and one person here. We'll say one of them's Frazer. So that one's Frazer, that one's Simon. And from these two people, so he recruits a person on each side, and then he gets $50. Right? If these two recruit, and they get 4, he gets $50 out of that as well. So there's that income, is pyramid income, isn't it? Then each one of the people within the pyramid must pay $35 to be in the pyramid, right? Out of that $35 for everyone he recruits, he gets $10 out of that. So this is the real money. This is the real money. Now the problem is the Irish, it was an Irish TV show. I don't know if it was government. I mean, you can't find much of it on the internet, but they investigated My Shopping Genie, and they couldn't find anything to suggest that they weren't a pyramid scheme. Surprise, surprise. And the reason for that is this. The way that MLM companies legitimise themselves, the way that they can get around being accused of being a pyramid scheme is that they have their physical product. There's a mascara there. They have their physical product. So most of them, health, beauty, whatever, as with FM World, for example, FM World, in order to get the commissions from your team, you must have purchased from FM World at least, it's around £18 worth of products from them yourselves in order to collect your commissions. But that must be bought in products. And the expectation is that you're selling it in products. You're selling the products, and there's no, I'm buying into the club and paying money out of your own pocket. It must be bought in products. And that's how they say. The products are always, you know, we look at Arbonne, or they're always extortionately priced. And that's because they need that residual money to go to the pyramid. It's all a nonsense, of course, the products. It's all, but they have to have that product, you see. They have to be able to say, well, it's a product. You sell the product and you make your commission. Problem is this, there is no product. And a piece of software where you make your money off clicks does not constitute a product. So, with no physical product to sell, or it doesn't even need to be a physical thing, it needs to be something where the money is exchanged. There's no money exchange, you're just giving this license away for free. It then becomes a literal pyramid scheme. It's a literal pyramid scheme because all they're doing is they're paying it. Because actually, take that away, well, you keep that, you don't, these people could just say, well, you know, I can't really be bothered to put it on anyone's computer. I've just got my license now. I just want to keep recruiting. There is no necessity to ever get that software on anyone's computer after you've reached a certain level. So you just sit back and recruit and you just collect all your... And that's what Simon Brookes was doing. That's what Simon and Frazer did. They started it. They launched in the UK in September. Went all over the world launching, got people into their team, got thousands and thousands. I mean, Frazer says 300,000 customers. I don't disbelieve him because he went all over the world with his dad. That's what they do, and that's how they were able to make such a lot of money, because all these $10, the $50 for the recruitment, it all added up, and the bonuses. But it was a pyramid scheme because none of that money was coming from the product itself. And had they done something similar to Planet and IntelliTravel, perhaps they could have stayed legitimate, but they were deemed illegal in both the UK and Ireland. Illegal, no product. You haven't got a product. You're not the product-based pyramid scheme. You're just the pyramid scheme because there's no product. But that's not the best bit. It's not the best bit. So they're a pyramid scheme. Surprise, surprise. It was a pyramid scheme. I can't think how 4 men who had run a history of running pyramid schemes and scams, how could that be? How could it be that they ran another pyramid scheme? I don't know. I can't think. Anyway, here, My Shopping Genie closed down. We have sent out a scam alert about My Shopping Genie, February 2012. It seems the company has bailed out at the end of May. Offices are closed. A review of My Shopping Genie can be found here. Main reasons for the disaster. The master distributor of My Shopping Genie had a controversial background. Lots of people did not understand why the management team of My Shopping Genie had given Bruce Byers that position. Well, the whole management team had dodgy backgrounds. That's why they were running another scam. That's what they do. They ran scams. They ran scams and get everyone in. David Freed, CEO, no great track record. So here we have a distributor called Kalpesh Patel. And he goes on. And here's him. And I'm guessing he was, it says top earner for My Shopping Genie. I'm guessing India, maybe. He goes on. They have not paid most of my distributors since January, unless they were globals or they asked several times to be paid. Even then, it was a hard struggle. And by the way, he wrote this in June, so they'd shut up shop by this point, and none of these people had been paid. I can provide dozens of emails if required. To this day, hundreds of reps have not been paid in my team alone. So they've shut, and hundreds of reps in his team alone have not been paid. thousands worldwide, so thousands of reps who were owed money weren't paid. They owe me 50,000. Got emails to prove it. Nobody ever replies. They stopped paying me 5 weeks ago. I have proof of this too. So as soon as they stopped paying everyone. That was it then. Shut up, we're not paying you. It's a pure illegal money game in most countries they open. Robbing people to cash flow their thieving bad habits. Moving millions into offshore accounts. Not new to them, as you can see below. It's a cesspit of incestuous relationships between all of those below. And this is a picture of all of those below. You'll notice Simon Brookes in there. It's a cesspit of incestuous relationships between all those below. They know each other, are related to each other, and have done this exact thing 6 times now. Sweet tongues, facades on stage, and smiles rope people in. These people are masters of robbing people in MLMs. I ignored so much because of their ability to look you in the eye with conviction, constantly pulling people back on false promises. Speak to the original app designer and dozens of past leaders they have done the same thing to. They get rid of producers that know too much and ask questions. They will only pay those who are willing to lie for them. And we go on and we see there he is. The next list, you go down a bit further to the sort of lower end ones. There's Frazer. These people, they all know each other. And as you've seen, they're all in this together. They're all in this together. Now, there's one problem with a scheme, which is, we know it's already a pyramid scheme. That's been proven. And a Ponzi scheme works like this. The person starts it, and they say to the investors, they say, well, you put in, let's say $200. You put in your $200, and in a few months, I'll pay you out $2,000. So the problem is, the way that it makes money is that it needs to, similar to a pyramid scheme, it needs to get more and more people in. So the way it pays this person the $2,000 is by finding new recruits to the Ponzi scheme who all put their money in, and then this person uses all of their money to pay this person £2,000. Then it says to all the people that they're trying to get in, look, we've got this person, they made £2,000. Look, they put and everyone agrees, yeah, they did. They only put £200 in, and in a couple of months later, they came out with £2,000. And they all say, oh, well, if they got £2,000 out, well, I want to do it. And then everyone crowds in thinking, and usually this person makes up a story about how they're an investor and all the rest of the nonsense, when really all they're doing is getting more people in, taking all their money, paying a couple of people in order to prove, look, I really am paying people. In the end, the majority of people who put their £200 in never ever see a return on the investment, because it's a scam. They can't afford to, because he's not really investing in anything, or she's not really investing in anything. And this is what My Shopping Genie was. It was a Ponzi scheme. So it was a pyramid and a Ponzi. And the reason for that is because they could not afford to pay all the distributors what they promised that they would pay, all of that $50 on $50 on $50. They couldn't afford to pay it back in the end. So you got, obviously, a low-end distributors made no money. I mean, we know most people in MLMs lose money, but even the higher-up people in My Shopping Genie, even the higher-up people like Kalpesh, top earner, even he didn't get paid in the end because he wasn't the in crowd. The in crowd was your Simon Brookes and these people, the incestuous ones, the ones that know each other, the ones that are in with the top guys. They all got paid because they're part of it. They're part of the scam. All the other people that just got the way to the top because they actually got lucky and got in early or whatever, they didn't get paid. They never got paid. Thousands of people didn't get paid. So Frazer Brookes hides all this because Frazer Brookes was part of probably one of the biggest scam MLMs going. He was at the head, he was at the top of a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme. Not MLM pyramid scheme, not pyramid selling, not product-based pyramid scheme, literal pyramid scheme. And Ponzi scheme. He didn't tell you that, does he, in his book? He doesn't. I've just told you about that. And he got involved with it because his father is friends with convicted criminals and shady individuals. And the ones that weren't convicted criminals settled out of court. That's who he's involved with. That's who got him involved with. So what does that tell you about Simon Brookes? Do we think, if we judge people by the company that they choose to hang around with, what do we think of Simon Brookes? Not a lot. I'm not going to say I think Simon Brookes is a scammer or a... Well, he is a scammer. We know that. He's scammed all the people in My Shopping Genie, but I don't know if he's a criminal. Should he be convicted of being a criminal? I'll leave that up to you. Frazer has lied to every single one of you about how he began this. He's told you all. He said My Shopping Sherlock. He doesn't mention any MLM in his book. He doesn't mention any MLM at all in his book. He just says he makes a book and he says that he's introverted and he's shy, which we know is nonsense. He's not introverted and he's not shy. He's a confident, outgoing guy. He gets in front of audiences. I mean, here he is. Just some clips. Here's one of Frazer and Bruce. Here's one of this is a My Shopping Genie. Frazer and Bruce. Frazer addressing everybody. Pictures. Look at them. Just look at them. One more here. They're just friends. They're friends. Simon Brookes, Bruce Byers, are all friends. So, you know, the mum's involved. Frazer's mum's even involved. They're all there, having a meal together. All there. So that's who he hangs around with. And so he's lying to you all. I've just exposed who he really is. Frazer and Frazer's dad, then with My Shopping Sherlock, took it forward. All of the, they shut down, then they just reopened as My Shopping Sherlock. And Frazer and his dad spearheaded that again in the UK. Same thing. I know that with the app now, I believe they charge a subscription. I guess that's to get around the whole product thing. But then Frazer left that. I believe his father is still involved with that. The fact that is what Frazer left. Frazer just left a cesspit of scamming and lying, and now calls himself a business coach, a leader, a social media expert. He knew nothing on social media. Did nothing whatsoever on social media. Just lied to you all. Now you know the truth about him. Do you think you should be buying his book? I personally wouldn't. He's a scammer. Can you imagine the amount of people he scammed out of money? Is him and his dad. Can you imagine? This pyramid Ponzi scheme. I can't. Frazer, you make me feel sick. You make me feel sick, Frazer, what you tell people. You should not be selling those books. You're lying to people in those books. And then do you know what you're doing also, Frazer? It's a criminal offence what you're doing. A false representation of yourself. But should you be taking money from people under false pretenses? You've told people that you started something, you've made a book full of lies, you've lied in your book. Should that happen? I think you should pay it back to everyone personally, Frazer. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I've made 2 videos proving you to be a liar, a scammer, a fraudster. That's what you are. All your dad got you involved, all his friends, liars and fraudster. So there's your video. You've been exposed, Frazer. You're a liar. You're a fraudster. You're a con man. You're a charlatan. You're all of those things. How are you not? How are you not? How aren't you those things? How aren't you those things? You are, aren't you? It's not the last you're going to hear about this, Frazer. Not the last.